Hello, it's Dark Devis again. I know I promised you guys a video on the Lord of the Rings TTRPG. I'm still working on that, but for right now, I just wanted to share some things about first level monsters that have been coming out with because I did start my new home game recently, and I am going to be sharing a little bit of an anecdote about the first session of that home game. But we want to start with first session monsters today because that's what I did. I ran the first session. And obviously, every first session, you're probably going to want to, bring the party together, but the party isn't going to want to play your game if you do not have like some combat. I think like it depends. Like if you're running a combat focused game, you probably need to have combat in the first session. If you're running a 50-50, you probably should have the enticings of combat at least by the first session. You should have their villains set up. You could have like a little NPC scuffle in the first session, but overall, your first kind of lead up into a boss, you want something decent. And obviously, the first one is going to be a cliche. The first one that probably comes to everyone's mind, it's the Goblin. Yes, those little green boys and girls. They're good. I mean, they've got like a short bow and a short sword. They have the rogue disengage where they can disengage or dash as a bonus action, which is pretty good for starting level. 1/4 CR, they've only got like 8 hit points. Very easy to take down, and they really like to be bullied by other stronger creatures, so they're very good for setting up a boss into like a bugbear or a hobgoblin leading them. And like in a good example of the goblins being used is probably the Lost Mines of Phandelver, which you can find in the starter set for D&D. It's that little box with the green dragon on it. And they actually have the goblins set up. If spoilers, by the way, if you haven't run or played through Lost Mines of Phandelver, they have the goblins, and the goblins are being controlled by a bugbear. The bugbear is working for the Black Spider. Black Spider has a bunch of people under him. Or no, the bugbear works for the Goblin King. My bad. It was the first adventure I read, so I don't actually remember too much of it. But the Goblin King works for it's not the Goblin King. It's like a Hobgoblin King who works for the Black Spider. And what ends up happening is that you find out the bugbear works for this Hobgoblin King. The Hobgoblin is just bullying the goblins overall, and they all follow the Black Spider, who is that villain. Now, the next creature type I want to talk about is the zombies. I think, if you're going for a more darker campaign, zombies are a good choice. Now, I do want to clarify this. If you are starting your players at level 1 and not level 3, you might want to tweak the zombies, because zombies are a half CR creature, meaning that they have a lot better stats to fight things than a level 1 character. And this is where what I ran in my first session, my new home game, I ran zombies, and I just reduced them down to 10 HP. It was a lot simpler. And I just had them. They're really good. You can have like a horde of zombies just attack a town. You can have them go into like a COD Zombies kind of moment where they hole up in a place and they got to barricade themselves and they got to fight off zombies. And then you could throw like a boss in at the end, like a necromancer or something. Some like person who's probably working for some higher power at the end of the day, some organization. And they can come in and pretty much, once you kill them, the zombies start withering away. They can't come back. They take a little bit of damage at the start of each turn, so on and so forth. Now, the zombies are good, but like I said, they are a half CR creature. They are strong. And even with that, their notable feature, which is to come back, their undead fortitude, it could be a problem if your players aren't ready for it, if you don't have a cleric who can deal radiant damage, or if they're just not getting crits. If they're getting crits, take them out easily, because that's the only other option, a way to get rid of them. But zombies are really good for that darker feel, and I like running zombies in my first campaign session because they do give it that darker feel, especially because I'm running like a Cursed Island kind of home game. And the last one that we want to talk about are just bandits, or just human assholes. Let's be honest. Your party gets robbed. This is a great start. Yeah, you're gonna fight off some like 10 HP thieves or something, like some schmucks in the banditry, and it leaves to this whole thing. You've now just had them start a war with this whole group, and it's going to be fun for them to do that. And why not? Like, they just got robbed. They're, of course, going to go after their shit back. Of course, you are going to need to be a bit more careful about what you pick from the monster manual. Back in the section of the monster manual has a bunch of stat blocks for that. You're going to want to probably tweak some of these again, just because they're not really well suited. Because, again, there's not a whole lot of good selections from the monster manual in terms of what you have to start with. Like, what, you have goblins, and that's, like, the first thing that comes to mind. Like, what, you could have, like, kobolds running around. But kobolds are really dangerous when utilized on their home turf. You're not going to send people into a kobold den. Why would you? But overall, I think, if you implement the proper monster, and, you can implement any monster in the first session. You can implement, like, a baby dragon. Like, newly hatched. You could have it be, like, very, very difficult. Or something. You can have it be like a boss, essentially, a 1 CR. If you have it be like a 1 CR creature, it's kind of going to take care of things. But any creature can be utilized at the first CR as a first session monster, or even at level 1, if you just tweak things hard enough. But, again, why would you throw Beholder at people at level 1 and just have them fight like this big scary creature that's been tweaked down to like 2 HP or something? That doesn't make any sense. You still have to make things make sense at the end of the day, which is, personally me, I prefer to go the zombie or goblin route, something a little bit more cliche like zombies, bandits, goblins. And I think those are very safe options, because having unsafe options could lead to you probably killing your players. I mean, I'm in another game that I'm playing with which is run by one of my friends. He's a great DM, and he likes the challenges, but sometimes his challenges can be a little. He did not he threw us into something hard. He threw us into Shades at level 1 plus the boss, which was absolutely horrifying. And there's only 6 of us. None of us have magic because we all decided to just not play spellcasters. I think we all went like hardcasters last time. I think it was like we were either like a party of half casters or full casters in our last campaign. So we were all like, yeah, we're gonna play something else, and we got hit with Shades without a cleric. Plus, we're still dealing with a boss. So we were kind of dealing with it. We're kind of getting hard. I was safe because I was playing from a range, and everybody else was just getting their strength drained. But we almost lost a couple of people in the first session. And part of that was due to the fact that we did not have everyone show up at the beginning of the session, and one person did have to drop out. But overall, we had a great session. We had a great first one. We all enjoyed it. I think outside of the Shades, we had fun. I think I would have replaced it with just 10 HP zombies, or not do 2 Shades, just throw 1 at us instead. But, that's some of the downsides of picking the wrong monster for your first session. Anyway, I just want to conclude this. My goal here was just to share what I thought would be good first session monsters, which are like really low CR, or something that can be easily tweaked from the 1/4 from the 1/2 section to the 1/4 section, and you can easily just tweak these in, put them in, and they're great jumping off points because you can introduce groups and enemies that you're going to want to set up as the opposition to your players. And anyway, thank you for joining me today. This was a good opportunity. I am still working on that Lord of the Rings TTRPG guide video. For those of you who do want to see more about it, I don't know how many of you actually want to see that, because I do know it was talked about a lot more beforehand, because it was published as a PDF before it was released. So I don't know how many of you have actually seen it. So, if you want to see that, get this video to, 10 likes, because I know this is very new. Get it to 10 likes. And I'll give you the Lord of the Rings TTRPG video. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it and want to see more of me.